up, everybody? It's Frankie Finn. So I wanted to say to those of you guys who are subscribers that I love you guys. I know many of you personally. It's a new channel, so amazing to have you here, and I hope that I'm doing my best to give you guys some cool insights. Now, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is something that is really, really important. I see this particularly in these high-ticket coaching businesses where people are building businesses and they're experiencing something that they may not even realize, which I call the 6-month hero run. So I was talking to basically the number one high-ticket sales guy I know in the entire world, who's been doing this for a long time and done it for lots of the experts and legends. And one of the things he told me that was really interesting is most people in these coaching businesses have what I call 6-month hero runs. And that means they do really, really well for 6 months and they have this success, and then they can't sustain it for any number of reasons. And usually the biggest reason they can't sustain it is because either they get burnt out or they didn't really enjoy it in the first place. Like, it was just a means to an end, and once they make enough money from it, they just don't want to do it anymore. It's a pain in the ass dealing with all the clients they get and so forth. And what is really going on from like a purely marketing point of view, much, much deeper than that, it's the difference between being strategic and tactical. And I'll tell you what being tactical looks like in the online world. I see many of these online funnels. Used one myself very, very successfully for many years in the lawyer niche, and it looks like this. It's a Facebook ad to a webinar, and you get a strategy session and you sign people up. But what nobody tells you about that is there's some downsides to doing that. The first thing is that the people who sign up, who can sign up just from one video, generally represent the 3 to 5% of your market that is the most desperate, in the most desperate need for a solution today. And so very rarely does a webinar attract the really high-end people, because the high-end people are usually the busiest. They don't have time to watch webinars. If they do, they're not buying just from the first thing, and if they do, it's usually something that's recommended by somebody in their inner circle. It's not just, hey, I got an ad in my news feed, let's click it and see what's going on, the latest 5-step. So it neglects the other like kind of 95% of the market, and you can build a really successful business on the 3 to 5%, by the way. Another thing that happens is I see people whether it's SEO or Facebook ads or Google AdWords, is they're using just one of them, and so they have a business that's built entirely on one ads platform. Now, if you do this long enough, you'll see horrible, horrible things that happen. Like, for example, when I did my SEO agency, I saw a guy who was making $1 million a month because he had great Google rankings. And then one day Google just changed the algorithm and he wasn't number one for all his stuff anymore, and his tactics and strategies were no longer valid in Google's eyes, and business dropped overnight. So he literally lost a $12 million a year business, went from 12 million to zero, like almost overnight. And these kind of things can happen when you're based entirely on one media. So are there things you can do about it? And the answer is yes, and it's switching from being this tactical, and a tactical strategy looks like this. Run an ad, get a person, 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 right? And being strategic is much more like looking like, how can I provide long-term value for this so that both I make more money and I actually benefit my people more? So it's like a bigger win-win for everybody. And so it starts with this idea that when you get a person, the idea is to keep them in your thing, so that you're not starting over every single month, so that you're continually to escalate them into higher and higher levels in your business. So maybe it's a mastermind, maybe it's some kind of recurring offer, maybe you're recommending software that they use to help do it, and you're making a piece in that. Maybe you're doing an affiliate deal. Maybe there's somebody you truly believe in that you would recommend to them that they use anyway, and what you want to do is make a cut somewhere in the middle by giving them something that you can, with your integrity, say this is really good, that is actually truly going to benefit them. And when you think about just doing this in a way of benefiting people for the long term, instead of run an ad, get a person, and then start over, what happens is you don't run your business to start over, and it starts to build momentum. And when it builds momentum, because you have these recurring income, a couple amazing things happen. Firstly, you enjoy it more, it's less stressful, and you actually start to build a long-term sellable asset. So one of the biggest mistakes I see people thinking is that they're going to get a coaching person or a consulting gig, and then that's it. Then they're going to go run an ad and do it again. So what I want to tell you right now is that there's actually 15 different ways to get people, to increase the value of people if you're already getting them and they don't require spending any more money or doing anything like that. And so one of the things that I wanted to recommend to you, if you're interested in that, let's jump on the phone for about half an hour and we can go through what those are. And then how that works is, part of what I do is, if we can uncover some of those hidden money in your business, I'll make you an offer about how we might help. If not, I will refer you to somebody who can. But there's usually at least 15 ways you're leaving money on the table. And even whether or not you do this with me or without me, it's important to really start looking at what are the ways I can make money and help these people beyond just the one way that I'm doing it now. Because if you do that, what you'll find is everything gets easier, because you'll get more out of everything you got. So learn that beauty gem from Jay Abraham. And it's amazing to me that a lot of internet marketers think, because hey, I build funnels and I know how sophisticated software and I know way more than all these kind of dumb local business owners or people who don't know what they're doing on the internet, that I'm this strategic internet marketer. And oftentimes they're really not. They're very, very tactical. They just know how to do the internet tactics really well. So peace out.